Stranded during the rental crisis, Gabby and Scott brought a caravan for their family to call home. But their solution pushed them closer to homelessness. Now they're in debt for a caravan they can't even use.
And it's just stress.
Yeah, it's hard. It's been hard. You know, it's hard for our children, it's been hard for us, and then the additional stress of all the issues and no one there helping us.
So this was supposed to be the solution to the rental crisis.
Yes, and it just turned from pretty much day dot a complete nightmare.
Gabby and Scott's caravan is riddled with defects.
2 months after we got this, it leaked. Every time it rained, it poured through.
On all of them, on all three skylights. It would soak our children in the bed.
And when they sent it back to the manufacturer, instead of getting fixed, it became flooded.
There were so many issues that they were talking about that would end up being written off anyway, and that was before it was inundated with water.
Now they're left with a loan they can't escape, paying for a caravan that's a complete write-off.
It's in their possession, they cover it on their insurance. Well, that was a joke.
They're taking no responsibility for it whatsoever.
Nothing.
2.5 hours north of Brisbane, near Gympie, Gabby and Scott should be living in their caravan while they build their dream home on this block of land. That was their escape plan when they got pushed out of the rental market.
And we just were like, what are we going to do? We've got 2 kids.
Sofa surfed her a little bit.
Yeah, stayed with some friends. And then in the end, I think it was actually my idea.
It was Gabby's idea.
I said that maybe we just have to buy a caravan.
So 2 years ago, they forked out for an almost 80 grand loan for a Malibu caravan.
A few weeks after we bought it, things started leaking, damages started showing up, the awning was coming loose, the toilet was leaking. You know, there was lists of problems within the first few weeks. And we did go on a road trip with it, but on that road trip, the awning
blew off of it where it wasn't attached properly.
You know, so every time we got in it, it was almost like a white knuckle ride because you just didn't know what was going to happen next.
They had their caravan insured and it came with 2 years warranty.
You know, we weren't getting any response from Malibu. And then when we would, it would be promises that they were going to fix it, and then you wouldn't hear from them again for months.
While Gabby and Scott say the problems only got worse.
We were getting electric shocks from the van.
Yeah.
You know, as we go through the front door, our children were getting electric shocks from the door.
So we're trying to sleep at night with our kids, and you're like, it could catch fire. And they knew all of this at Malibu. We told all of them, you know, in emails that we need the van, we can't be without the van, it's our home kind of thing, but they didn't care.
When their insurance came up for renewal, Gabby and Scott had to list the defects.
Is that we couldn't reinsure the van because of the amount of warranty issues that was wrong with it. The insurance company wouldn't insure it for the amount of the cost of the value of the van.
So it just sat on their property until Malibu agreed to fix it.
So they said to us to bring the van to the Nambour depot, and then they said 2 days later the van was going to be collected and taken to Melbourne.
Days turned into weeks and Malibu never picked up the van from the Sunshine Coast depot. Then Cyclone Alfred hit.
I was just looking at my page and it showed the caravan place in Nambour flooded. So then I quickly tried to get hold of the guy who works for Malibu. I said, it's flooded, what about our van? And then he sent the photograph back up and said, yeah, your van's underwater.
It's still quite muddy, isn't it?
And it smells like, the smell is just...
So we would have been standing in floodwater, would have come up to about
well,
here.
They said anything above hip height was basically damaged, and that's everything below. So all the electrics, the hot water systems, all the pumps, everything.
So it's a complete write-off?
Yeah, complete write-off.
So Malibu aren't taking responsibility because they're trying to blame you guys for not having insurance.
They can just wash their hands of it.
From where we're sitting, it wouldn't have been flooded if there wasn't warranty issues.
Yeah.
If it wasn't with them.
It wouldn't have got flooded.
If it was where it was supposed to be, which was
in Melbourne.
their Melbourne factory.
It wouldn't have been inundated with water.
They've had to do up their shed to live in as they feel left in the lurch. And they're not the only ones.
Someone's even said, do not buy a lemon caravan from this company.
The salesman who sold them the van even leaving a review.
He's put a review, 1 star, save your money. I sold them out of my dealership for a couple of years. Much better vans out there.
Another unhappy customer contacted A Current Affair, showing us they too had a leaking van.
Soaking wet.
And while we were there, coincidentally, a phone call from a Malibu employee.
They're going to replace your van with another one as long as we get your van back and you go back to the media and say that we fixed the problem.
It all sounds a little bit dodgy that it's not a brand new van they're going to give us in, they're just going to give us someone else's lemon.
Initially, Malibu offered Gabby and Scott a second-hand or demo van.
Since we are helping you out in this matter, we hope you could also help us with marketing our product by informing everyone whom you have informed before about your situation about Malibu's good deed.
I just don't trust that at all.
Well, we'll see.
Well, we'll definitely hold them to account on this one.
Malibu later telling A Current Affair in an email. We have agreed with the customer, Gabby and Scott, to provide a brand new 2025 model caravan with a 2-year warranty period.
So it just feels too good to be true.
Well, rest assured we'll stay on the case for Gabby and Scott and make sure they do get their new caravan.